Hi everyone and welcome back. Today we are back with a Japanese whiskey, and it's not just any whiskey, it is the Hakushu Distillers Reserve. So this here is a whiskey from Japan. It's from the Suntory Mountain Distillery. It is a non-age statement. It's bottled at 43% and it's said to have an influence of lightly peated malts. And it is, of course, a single malt whiskey. So I was actually lucky enough to win this in a raffle. It is quite an interesting whiskey, I think, and I love seeing what Japan has to offer. Of course, Japan has a really interesting whiskey history as well, all the way from when Masataka Taketsuru travelled over to Scotland to get to know some of the different distilleries here and learn the art of making whiskey, which he then took back to Japan. But of course, if you'd like to hear me maybe talk a bit more about the history of Japanese whiskey, please put it in the comments below and I can perhaps make a video solely on Japanese whiskey and its really interesting history. But this whiskey that we're trying today is of course from the Suntory Whiskey Company, which is of course one of Japan's biggest whiskey producers. So it'll be really interesting to have a little look. But let's start with the nose. Oh, this is so sweet and so like honeydew, like fresh honeydew melon. It's that kind of fresh, watery, lovely kind of sweetness along with this kind of fruity, juicy notes that come out. It is quite funny because this whiskey is often described as kind of light and green, and I mean it is kind of green, that kind of pale yellow to really tropical green that is coming out on the nose. A lot of fruitiness. I'm not detecting much earthiness or smoke at all. Just very crisp and juicy. It's like it's that honeydew melon, but it's mixed with kind of green apples, but very kind of sweeter green apples. Perhaps a little bit grassy, like freshly cut grass. And a hint of artificial banana. I mean, it just makes you want to try it, so let's do that. Ganpai! I think this is so interesting. It's still that green or pale yellow kind of flavor profile. It's still like that honeydew lemon, but it has another bitterness underneath. So it's like a grassy bitterness. Yeah, so like if you have a green tea that is towards like the grassy or floral kind of direction, it's that kind of bitterness along with that grassy notes, and almost feel a bit minty on the finish as well. But it's definitely that kind of honeydew melon that I get the most of. It's really weird, but it reminds me a bit of a Hendrick's gin and tonic with the cucumber, but without the juniper. So it's still quite that kind of grassy, lovely herbal element you can get in some gins, along with that cucumber freshness and a little bit of that drying sensation you can get in the tonic. I think it's a brilliant whiskey. Slightly herby, you're getting that more on the finish as well. Slightly dry but super juicy and super fruity. And on the finish you're getting a slight hint of that smoke. But it's just this kind of earthy note that gives the whiskey like a kind of a robustness from underneath, which lifts those kind of tropical, fresh, crisp flavors. Yeah, I mean, it's lovely. I think this is such a summer whiskey. Sitting outside, you can smell the kind of freshly cut grass around you. You might have a gin tonic coming soon. There's sun, there's some sunblock on you, there's maybe some water close by as well, so you can go for a freshing kind of dip. It's yeah, very summery whiskey for me. Along with that summery note, it's actually reminding me of this one time our dear friend took us to a restaurant And they had this really, like, it was in the summer, it was quite humid, it was in the middle of August, so it was middle of fringe season here in Edinburgh. And I got this really wonderful yuzu tea. It was quite sweet, but it wasn't sugary sweet, it just had a sweet freshness. And it was very velvety and very, it's so different because it's like a citrus fruit that is sweet, but not overpoweringly sweet. It's just very fresh, perfect for like summer weather. And that is a bit what this dram reminds me of. It could be the memories, it could be the yuzu, it could be the tea. It's but yeah, that's what I'm getting. And I almost forgot, the Hakushu 25-year-old actually won this year, so 2020's World Whisky Awards as the world's best single malt. Sounds like an absolutely incredible whiskey. Hakushu 25-year-old, wouldn't that be something to try? Especially when the Distillers Reserve is this nice. But of course, I would love to hear what you think of Japanese whiskey. Which one is your favourite? Have you managed to try the Hakushu Distillers Reserve perhaps? What's your thoughts? Please put them in the comments below. I love hearing what you think of these whiskies that I'm trying. And of course, a massive thank you to my wonderful Patreons. You guys are amazing and I'm so happy that you want to continue to support me. But of course, as always, have a lovely day. Slanjava. Kampai!